Check, check. Can't hear myself. Alright. We back on. Turn my vocals down just a little bit. Yeah. Yo. It's the voodoo you do that's making me cuckoo. When wealth is your promise, I need help that's not to pursue you. The look of a diamond with the power shine of a new moon. Hey big man, show your plan in 9 moments, that's too soon. Now granted, I can stand alone. A man at home is filling up with sand with chrome. The blame is dome. A cycle with a camera phone captures this rapture, making it viral. Now here we are repeating the cycle, wearing the title of the angry black man who's smoking crack and give his woman the mean backhand. Release the kraken from the land of the high black sand where shit was jacked in to the land of the cold asphalt, toting the Mac 10 divided soul like Marvin Gaye up in a rotten hole. I give you straight talk, my nigga, this is not in code. It ain't a cakewalk, my nigga, this a try and roll. With many of stories never fucking told. We gotta make a profit, need something in our pockets to spend it at conglomerates and put it in the pot, yes, then put it on the table. Defeat a nigga conscious, no question my digestion. Progression ain't an eye test, we know the results, cause we living up in the project. We know where it fall, but we never know who gon' die next. The devil is alive. He manufactured the Pyrex. Awaken while you wait to partake in the devil's pie next. Even I see the signs. I keep my motherfucking third eye wide open. Even I see the signs. I keep my motherfucking third eye wide open. Even I see the signs. I keep my motherfucking. Keep that.
Look out, black world, cause Whitey got his eye on you.
All right, what's Gucci, everybody? What's Gucci? It's your boy, it's your friend Ras Tien in here in the building. And right now I got a very special guest, close friend of mine. It goes by the name of Chedda Chaz. Chaz, why don't you tell us, how you feeling, brother?
I'm hanging in there, brother. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, I'm doing good. So why don't you tell us about more about Chedda Chaz? Who is Chedda Chaz?
I'm a filmmaker, musician, from New Orleans, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people may not know that. I'm from the downtown New Orleans area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a easygoing guy, man. Just an easygoing guy. Just trying to make it in the world, just like everybody else is right now.
Oh, okay, I see. So how long have you been an artist?
I would say I've been actively creating probably around 10 years now, but I would say I've been professionally creating maybe the last 2 to 3 years. You know, you go through your learning errors and things like that. And I just put out my first, this is actually my second short film I just put out. I did one years ago. It was just me like just trying my hand at it. And I was happy with it. But this one, you know, I took the skills I've acquired over the time, you know, and put this one out. And I'm really happy with it. It's been getting a great response.
Oh, okay. That's good. And what's the name of your films?
The first film I did is it was a part of a anthology, and it was called Hood Movies, right? It was basically like Tales from the Crypt, but from a urban inner city perspective, just like a anthology. And I did that maybe around 2016. And this latest one is called Pure Heart, The Talented 10 Million.
Right.
And that's more of a socially conscious film.
Yeah, I actually just watched it. That was pretty dope.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I forgot Bakari Hannibal. I forgot who he was, actually. I heard the name before.
He's no one. Bakari Hannibal is a fictional character.
Okay, it sounds like a historical character. I'm about to say, why that name sound familiar?
It's loosely, well, a part of it is Bakari is based on several people, right? One of the people you may be familiar with, Hannibal of Carthage.
Yeah, I know him.
So Hannibal of Carthage, his father, I believe, his name was Hannibal Barca. So Hannibal of Carthage, for those who don't know, he's an African general who crossed into Rome on elephant back. and they conquered Sicily. They did a bunch of like incredible shit. And it's never really been touched on, but they allude to him in 300. Like you look at the character in 300 in the first movie, the guy with all the piercings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be Hannibal Barker or
Yeah.
Hannibal Carthage.
Yeah,
That's
see,
what that's based on.
yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that Hannibal really is black, but they make him like he's white or like nobody really knows what he looked like, that kind of crap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Whenever someone's black, they make them racially ambiguous, like Cleopatra or Hannibal, or just countless historical figures. Whenever someone's black, they're just like, let's just make them ambiguous. We're gonna go with that. That's the game plan.
Right. Okay. So, what made you get into hip hop?
Growing up, I mean, you grew up in the 90s, it was everywhere. You grew up in the 90s. My family was really big into it. I grew up in a music household. Like my sister, she was running around in the 90s. Every new album came out, every new group, it was played in the house. My uncles, they actually, one of them actually did music, and he had a professional release album at one time, and it just took over. It kind of just took over my life, and I became very passionate about it at an early age.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And you say you've been doing it for 10 years, right?
Yeah, I would say 10 years. That's about right.
Right. And do you have any musical influences?
Ton. Even some influences you may not even hear. Like I'm a huge Prince fan. I'm a huge D'Angelo fan. Of course, I can't sing or do any of that, so you may not necessarily hear that and reflected in the music. But there's all the regulars. Pac, Nas. There's all the legends. All the legends.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good. And so what should we be expecting from you in the future?
I think 2020 with the pandemic, it allowed a lot of people, of course it's been a tragic year, but it allowed a lot of people to like just focus and hone their craft and like hopefully come out of 2020 better than we went into it. So for myself, I put out a lot of projects last year. I think I did maybe 10 or 12 music videos, a short film. I'm in pre-production for a feature-length film right now. We would have been done we would have been done had it not been for everything that went on. But we hoping to get that completed sometime very soon. I got a couple new short films coming out, working on a new music project right now. That's just about done. And yeah, man, we're just trying to keep like good energy and good momentum moving forward.
Oh, okay. I see. So then, okay, that's good. So, what do you think about what do you think about today's hip hop music? Like, are you a fan of it, or is some of the stuff you don't like? I mean, there's always some stuff you don't like, right?
I think music is subjective, man. It's at the end of the day, what do you feel like is tasteless, or what do you feel like is, full of substance or what have you? It may not be, some things may not be for you. Now, do I believe certain things are purposely overdone and certain things are oversaturated? Yeah, I believe that. But that's always been the case during any period of music. You know what I mean? Like at one point, most stuff was socially conscious. Then at another point, everything was gangster music. Then at another point, everything was auto-tune. You know what I mean? I just hope we're not seeing a steady decline in substance. I would hope that's not the case. But yeah, I think there's something for everybody, man. It's subjective.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about the decline, I mean, for me, where the decline comes in is where you got like a lot of these dudes that are just, you know, they fruit booties. Now, this is, I guess, this is YouTube sensitive. I'm gonna just say that they just coming on out as as we say in New Orleans,
Okay.
fun boys. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
I mean, a lot of the dudes coming out, and not only that, but they talking about stuff that's not that they not a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Oh yeah.
being in the
Yeah.
streets and they're not really from the streets.
Right.
I mean, you've always had dudes talking about being from the hood when they're not from the hood, but now it's like you notice you have a lot of these fun boys that are coming out.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, man, you know, I say this: music and prison are like being in the army. You can be all that you can be. You could be whoever you want. You go to prison, there's a million guys who are kingpins. You get into music, everybody, you know, they slept with this many women, they killed this many people. You could be all you could be. You know what I mean? It's just when the lines get blurred between entertainment and reality, that's when, you know, things get a little hectic.
Mhm.
But for the most part, you gotta take people's personas with a grain of salt. You know, some of it's funny. Some of it's funny, but yeah, it does get a little carried away sometimes.
Yeah, and one thing. Speaking of killing, you know, I want to touch on this with you. You know, recently, I think the other day there was this white boy, age 21, named Robert Long. He killed those 8 Asian women.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in
Saw
Atlanta,
that.
Georgia, right?
Saw that. Yeah.
Right. Now apparently back in the States, that's a big thing. And of course, people here in Asia, they know about it too.
Mhm.
You know. So and from what I heard, the dude, he went to like 3 different massage parlors. It was 3 different, from what the news said. It was 3 different massage parlors, and he killed that's how the women got killed. It totaled up to 8 because he went to like a total of 3.
Oh, so he killed people at multiple massage parlors,
Yeah,
like 2 people here, 3 people here. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's crazy.
yeah. So basically,
That's crazy.
so what do you think, in your opinion, what do you think his motive was?
Um, that's all of his targets of Asian descent.
Yeah, from what they said, like all because you know, in those massage spas, usually it's Asian women up in there, you know, doing the happy ending and shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Man, for him to, that's crazy. I mean, I guess you could Google it, but I'm trying to think how a person would know just off the top of their head 3 separate massage parlors. Was this in like their red light district, or was this like in some type of regular strip mall massage parlor?
these were they were their own buildings.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you know what he was probably, because I talked about this in my video I did last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of these dudes, you know, they want to go and get their rocks off. So
Yeah.
the thing is that they go there trying to solicit sex, or hoping that sex will get solicited to them. And he probably went there and they probably didn't want to give him none. So he probably got sexually frustrated and just decided to take out his anger and kill him. Because when I was in Thailand,
Man.
and in Bangkok, when I was walking down the street and I was passing up massage spas, because you know they got a lot of massage spas in Thailand.
Okay.
There was some of these massage spas that had signs that said no sex, because you know a lot of people, a lot of expats, they go to Thailand so they can participate in degenerate behavior, and a lot of people are just sexual deviants. So that's why
Brazil too.
Yeah, Brazil too. So they go to these places like the Philippines or Thailand, and they act as sexual deviants. And that's probably, in my mind, that was probably his motive, because he couldn't get his rocks off out of spite. He's like, you know what, man? Fuck you, Asian bitches, man. You know, he probably was on that type of shit. That's just my opinion.
Man, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Did anyone hear him say anything like racial, or did he say why he did it? Did he have a manifesto or anything?
I didn't see any manifesto. I didn't really look that much into the guy.
Right.
When I did my reaction video, I just like, which that probably would have been a good thing to have though, when I was doing my reaction. If I could have, looked into that a bit more. I didn't even think about that. But
because it don't sound too random, because he went to 3 places, and I mean that's at least some premeditation. He wasn't going into, because he didn't go to like the massage parlor, then go to like a Chinese restaurant, then go to a martial arts school or something. He went to 3 massage parlors. So that sounds, that sounds a little sexual. That sounds, or maybe he was familiar with these places and he knew the ethnicity of the, the workers there, and he targeted them. But it seems very specific.
Yeah. And the thing is that there's been an attack on Asian people a lot ever since the coronavirus. Like when Trump called it the Wuhan virus, or the Kung Fu flu, or that kind of stuff. People have been just taking out all their frustration on Asians, because of what China did, not knowing that, not all Asian people are from China.
Yeah, all Asian people are Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Asia's a pretty big place.
Yeah. And that's the thing. See, it affected me because it's like,
not only that, not all Chinese people are from Wuhan. So, it's like, come on. But yeah, point stands, I guess.
And even within China, people from Wuhan, they got heavily discriminated by other Chinese. So, but the thing, it affected me because my kid, she's half Asian, as you know, and she looks more Asian than Black. So I kind of like, I wondered, like, if I'd sent her to America to live with my mom, like, how would she fare? Because like I said, she looks more Asian, and I don't want her to come home crying, talking about somebody that punched her in the face, because I'd have to kill.
Then you gotta go crazy, right?
Yeah, I'd go, Captain Crunch, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you gotta go Captain Crunch. Truthfully, I haven't noticed much of that in the States. Like I really haven't seen it like in the States. And not saying that it doesn't happen just because I don't see it, but this with the guy with the massage parlors, that's like probably the only overt thing I've like seen, and we don't even necessarily know his motivation for that at this point. But even if it was racial, which one could make a pretty good argument that it was, that's really most of what I've seen. I haven't really seen any, overt racism toward Asian people stateside. But I'm not everywhere, so I don't know what's happening in predominantly Asian communities. But I haven't personally seen that.
Right. So then, with that being said, bro, I remember I saw a video yesterday where this Asian woman, this old Asian lady, she beat the brakes off of one white dude. All I saw was that the dude was in a stretcher. Dude was in a stretcher, all bent,
God damn.
bent and stuff, and she's just speaking. Sound like she was speaking Chinese.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was speaking Chinese because I'm familiar with the language. But she was saying some stuff. She was basically saying she had the pipe in her hand and she was just shaking the pipe at the guy, and she was
Was
just,
this like a random act of violence? What was this?
I think from what I heard, I think it was from Cali, from what I heard.
Okay.
And it
That's
was an
crazy.
it was an old Asian lady, and she was just shaking the pipe, talking in Chinese, like pretty much about how scared she was.
That's
And
crazy as hell.
crying.
Yeah, his ass should have been scared. Seems like it, because after she whooped his ass.
Yeah, because I mean,
But yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
but it's
Can't do
like,
that.
you know, these and like my friend, he sent me a video where this white guy was in a restaurant. Yesterday morning, I watched this video where this guy was in a restaurant, and it was called the Chan family. It's all on like you can go watch it. It's all over social media where
Is this in the States?
yes, he called
Okay.
them Asian pieces of shit,
Okay.
right? And it was just a short video. They was just like it was just a little short video of him just cursing them out. I haven't found the long video. I'm gonna look for the long video so I can analyze it more for why.
Is that all he said?
Hmm?
Is that all he said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Asian pieces of shit.
Like the video started
wow.
off. The video it started off where it said like they said, what did you say? Say that again. Say that again. And they were reporting him.
Yo, what is wrong with people? When people insult you or attack you, you just go straight for your phone. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, what the fuck?
I guess everybody trying to
Like,
be film directors.
like, no, you can't. You know what? I know what I call it, man. It's like it's oppression clout. You know what I'm saying? People want oppression clout. It's like you pull out your phone and you record yourself being targeted. It's like, no, defend yourself or remove yourself in that situation because you don't know what this person has. Don't record it and upload it. You know, don't do that. Okay, whatever. If you want to do that, cool, because maybe you're not a confrontational person, right?
Yeah.
But what's that gonna do? Get out of that situation. Like, why are you standing there? Get out of there. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I understand they probably recording for their safety as proof to
for that.
But like what you said, if they just exit the situation from the beginning, they wouldn't have to worry about all that.
Yeah, because we know what's safer than pulling your phone out. A, neutralizing the situation, or B, running. Like get out the situation. You know what I'm saying? But everyone's different, I guess. Everyone's different, you know.
Right. Now, I've heard when I was on Instagram, I've heard some people, like I've heard a lot of people say, you know, stop Asian hate, you know, hashtag stop Asian hate. And yeah, and I agree. Like I don't believe in hating nobody, you know, not no more.
Yeah, I don't believe in hating anyone, right?
Yeah. So and like I said, you know, I got Asian people in my family now, you know, so
right.
You know, I don't tolerate that. I don't condone it, especially if you punch at old people. Of old people of any kind, no matter if they black, white, or Asian. You don't get no respect from me for that. But there are some people that are saying, well, you know, yeah, that's sad. But then there are others that are saying, well, you know, yeah, it's bad, but it's not our problem. We shouldn't be bothered with it. And the people who are saying this I've noticed it's been black people. Usually those who are of the pro-black persuasion, and I'm just
that's an interesting point. When you say pro-black, what do you mean?
Oh, well, just like people who just like people who just you know, like the ones who just believe in, like, you know, obviously black people do it for self and just keeping everything black as far as businesses, relationships,
Well, that sounds more like nationalists. I think like a person one can believe in nationalism and not necessarily be like anti anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I personally view pro-black as people who just proud of being black. I think everyone's pro everything, right? I think, everyone's pro what they are or should be pro what they are, because why would you want to be anti-self? You know what I mean?
Right. But right, but like the ones who I'm talking about, like it be like, the ones I'm talking about, the ones who will, for example, they'll talk about how good Africa is, but don't even have a passport, ain't never been there, ain't never done nothing for other black people. Um,
You mean like
Heavily criticize other black people because they don't think and do the same thing.
okay, I don't even know what to call those people. I wouldn't say, I don't want to insult Pan-Africanists and say that. I wouldn't know what to call those people necessarily, but I have an idea of the type of people you're referring to.
Yeah,
I do have an idea.
Tariq Nasheed, he would say, fake conscious N-words, but yeah.
Oh, you mean, yeah, I mean, in every community, you're gonna have the grifters in the community. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have those people, like those cells in the community that are really just full of shit, and they really they leech off every progressive movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're the hanger-ons. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you're talking about with those type of people.
Right.
Absolutely.
But you it may not just be them, but you may just be saying, like, you may just have, like, as you say, like, people who are pro-black but not anti anyone or anti-self. You might hear them say, like, well, we shouldn't really, it's bad that it's happening, but we shouldn't really worry about what's going on, because when things like this happen to us, they're silent. Like, just playing the devil's advocate, somebody might say, well, we've been getting killed for 9 years. Ever since Trayvon Martin, black people been getting killed in the streets, and none of these Asians or Hispanics have been saying anything. Some of these guys have been blaming us and saying it's our own fault. We did something wrong. Some of them even say we should die. Like
right.
Because I listened to this dude, this white South African dude on YouTube. His name is Serpensa, and he used to live in China. And he said, like, when he told a lot of Chinese people that he was from Africa, they were surprised because they're like, wait, you're white. How can you be from Africa? And he told them about the colonial rule of South Africa. And he said that the people, every time he told them that, I think 89 to 90% of the people said good, because black people are bad people. This is what the Chinese people in the mainland said.
I mean, China's over there with their colonial rule as well. So, China's over there with their hand in the cookie jar as well.
Right. So with that being said, like, you'll have a lot of people that'll say that. They'll say, they might say, well, we should really try to advocate for them because they don't advocate for us. And I sympathize with that, because when I look at it like this. When you look at like during the 90s, when Latasha Harlings, remember when that girl who got
shot? Her death anniversary just passed. Rest in peace, Latasha Harlings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
In the 90s, when she got shot in the back of the head by that Korean lady for over a bottle of juice that she didn't steal.
Yeah. That she paid for, right?
Right. She did pay for it. Then when you look at Asian store owners beating up black women and putting them in chokeholds. When you look at, like, if you go into a shop and Koreans following you around the store because they think you're gonna steal something because you black, or even when you see, like, police officers like Peter Leon, or the Asian officer who just watched that white dude kill George Floyd, it didn't stop him.
He didn't just watch him. He didn't just watch him. He protected him while he was. He made sure no one intervened while his partner killed George Floyd. That guy. I'm not familiar with his name, but yeah, I think he's actually going to testify against him, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
He's actually Vietnamese. I looked him up.
Okay.
His name is actually, it sounds Vietnamese. So
Okay.
basically, I'm saying all this to say is like, nobody from the Asian communities spoke up and said how shocked and appalled they were and surprised at what their
Right.
parents had done. And I remember, a friend of mine, he said, well, they just don't speak up in general, even when things happen to themselves. So what do you think about that?
Well, when Peter Liang murdered that black man, there was Asian people were in the streets protesting. They were saying it's an accident. It wasn't murder. They put a lot of political pressure on the district attorney at that time, who was also a black man. No, I disagree with that point. I mean, people culturally respond to things differently because we all from different places have different experiences.
Mhm.
But no, I tend to think generally when people have a problem with something, they're going to, as a collective, march out against it. I don't care how small the community is. People are generally going to protect their self-interest.
Mhm.
Especially if you live in a democracy where you're not gonna get not elite unless you're black, you're not gonna get beaten down in the street for doing it. You know what I mean? People are gonna generally protect their interests. So I don't agree with that.
Right, because I mean, when I look at it, like I know that these are all individuals, but some people they might say, well, all of us people of color, we should band together. All of us people of color should band together because we're all, it's because I've heard some people say, well, it's the white man that turned us against each other's. It's not the fault of the Asian man or the Hispanic man. And again, speaking speaking using the devil's advocate, some people
Right.
would say, well, you can't say that Latinos are our brothers because they didn't even like black people in Latin America where they were from. So they damn sure don't like black Americans. You
They
can't.
don't like black, right? They don't like black people anywhere. Like black people are for entertainment.
Mhm.
That's what black people are for on Earth. black people are for resources and entertainment. This is what we're used for. Like with the people of color thing, I don't subscribe to that at all. And it was an Asian gentleman who wrote an article about that not too long ago. And it was a great article. I'm gonna have to send it to you after this conversation. But he spoke on about how a lot of black Americans felt that the term people of color was actually excluding them, because all people of color means is black people at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Black people, you do all the work, but when it's time it's like black people, you go pick all the cotton, but when it's time to get paid for who picks the cotton, you get the least amount. And you should just be happy that everyone else is flourishing. that's what it means. Yes, I don't subscribe to that for as people of color, and because black people like they like in America, even globally, but mainly in America, we like to pretend that black people are the moral compass. Like they like to push black people to the forefront as the moral compass of the United States, when we're really just the mules. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be any issues with people of color in America if it wasn't for black people, because there wouldn't be that many people of color over here if it wasn't for us.
Exactly. And that's how I feel, because the thing is, people always expect us to take the high moral road. We always supposed to have this high standard of morality, and everyone, but it's okay for everyone else to do their dirt and to screw up. And we're just supposed to have this unconditional love and accept everyone.
Right.
And that's
And
the problem I have, because it's like we give all this stuff and yet we don't get any reciprocation.
right. But that's been the case with us historically. I mean, you look back to, like, I'm talking about before the United States was a thing. This historically, when you had like the people from the East or the Asiatics moving into like ancient Egypt and ancient Nubia and blending with the black people, you would think that there would be some camaraderie there, but there was no camaraderie. It ultimately turned into colonialism, and they have to like fight them off, and reclaim their land. The black people have to reclaim their land. This historically happens. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Aboriginal people in Australia. I'm sure they were initially welcoming to the people who arrived on their shores, and now there's no more Tasmania. You know what I mean? there's all the Aboriginal people. They're pretty much second, third class citizens on their own continent. So I think black people, I would hope that we've learned some self-preservation over these past 401 years, and started worrying about carrying our own luggage versus everyone else's.
I think that may be the problem, because no, not me. I think that's definitely the problem, because the thing is, a lot of us, I think there are too many of us that are idealists, to whereas, idealists, it's good that they're positive, but the problem is that they're not realistic enough. They talk about, like for example, you might have somebody that's in a relationship with someone that's in jail, and an idealist, they might tell you, well, yeah, maybe y'all could make it work. After 10 years, he gets out of jail, and then y'all can get married, start a family. But a realist, a person that's,
but he's
gonna
never getting out of jail. He's a criminal. He's never getting out of jail. He's a predicate felon. He going right back to jail.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, a realist is going to tell you, you shouldn't even bother wasting time. You should go,
right.
This is a long time. You should go find somebody else.
Right.
And that's what a realist would tell you. And but
I totally agree with you. Like, I think a lot of black people, we deal in hope. You know what I mean? We don't necessarily like to, black people, we like to deal with intangible things and escapism. You know what I mean? That's why one of the main reasons why drugs was so successful in the black community, because we look for that escapism. You know what I mean? We look for something other than what's reality. We don't like to face reality head on a lot of the times.
Yeah.
When as many problems as we catching, much hell as we catching, we need to be uniting with each other before we can unite with anyone else. Because I guarantee you this, if I step on a white man's shoe, he might have a problem. But if I step on this black man's shoe, he gonna kill me. But if the white man step on this black man's shoe, he ain't gonna say nothing. He might say, "Hey, watch it," but he gonna kill me, and I'm his brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's across the board. That's the thing we trying to break free from. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like and that's the thing, like, when you look at how black people have made it possible for other groups, it's like they just don't realize that. They don't know. I think a lot of them just don't know, but even when you try to tell them, they're in denial, like, well, hey man, the reason you're even here in America is because, for one, I built America.
Right.
I was here.
There was no America. Right.
Right. And then for two, especially for blacks from the Caribbeans and from Africa, the only reason y'all over here is because you see how our black people who are famous are, and you're looking at them like, well, hey, he is black like me. If he can make a lot of money there in America, I can take my family and my good, and I can go to it. And then when they come to America,
they're disowned.
They say a lot of snide and disparaging remarks and talk about how much they hate us. Same thing when you look at a lot of these these Asian people that come here, they'll say they'll have the nerve to tell me to go back to Africa. Well, wait,
Wow.
I've been here longer than you. You a guest in my house. You know
And
what I'm
you
saying?
know, and we're not, and I'm sure you aren't. I know I'm not advocating for anyone to be harmed or anything like that, just to make it clear. But ultimately, it's like I think it's so not even unfair. I think it's racist to expect black people to continue to deal with this country's dirty laundry. Like, all right, black women say to democracy, black men do this, black men do that, black men do this. It's like society doesn't have a place for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's only entertainment and, you know, mule labor. Like, you know, we don't really have a place in society. Black Americans don't have a friend in the world. No, we don't have friends anywhere in the world. So, you know, while it's unfortunate, and I would hope that the reports of anti-Asian attacks and things that nature, I would hope that my hope is that it's an exaggeration and that it's not true. Right? That's my hope. But if it is true, then I truly wish that community the best. And I frown upon anybody who would go out of their way to attack some people that you don't even know. You know what I mean? Who never personally done you anything, because you're feeding into a narrative. You're feeding into a narrative, whether you think it's propaganda or not with the coronavirus. You know, whatever people's perspective is, because I don't know, and I'm almost content with not knowing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where it came from, and I'm kind of content with not knowing, honestly. But for the people who do feel like, you know, this was a thing from Asia and they feel attacked by this and they want to retaliate, man, it's you can't prove it. It's like, dude, you can't prove it. And if you could prove it, these people here don't have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, so what are you gonna do? Like, just, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. And now, my next question is, do you think that as Black people we should advocate for them? Because some people will say like, well, like I said earlier, we're all people of color. We need to fight against the evil uh, white devils that have put us against each other and filled us all with hate, divided us. Uh, because you know, some people would argue that, well, you know, we've helped a lot of people and we don't get any help because we think like if we help people, eventually they're gonna help us, right? Naturally, that's how anyone would think.
Right.
But
We would think it's a transactional thing, or at least morally thing, right?
right, but we've seen no reciprocation. And what do you think about that? And also, can I'm gonna ask a B question to that A question. What are the times that Black people have actually helped other people, and other people have been ungrateful?
Okay. Well, the first question is, personally, I don't think that any other races exist. I think you just have Black people and different shades of white people who speak different languages. That's all it is, especially in America. Like, when it's time to show and prove, people go where the power is. Everyone sticks with their own kind, except for Black people, and people tend to go where the power is. And the power in this society is with white people. So naturally, when people come over here, when they come to America and they assimilate, their aspirations are to be as powerful as the white people. And how do you get that powerful? By oppressing Black people. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care who, no one cares who built the airplanes. You know what I'm saying? No one cares who built ships. No one cares who built the couch you're sitting on, right? You just want to make sure it's comfortable, the plane flies smoothly, and it gets you to your destination. That's it. So when you look at, so as the craftsman, You're like, hey, but I built this plane. And they like, I don't care. I just care that I got here. I don't care how I got here. I made it, and you can go away now. And that's pretty much what happens.
Mhm.
So I think personally, with as much hell as black people are catching, have been catching before there wasn't an influx of anyone else in this country, I think we need to focus on our 401-year-old problem and conquer it. And then we can try to help other people if we choose to do so. Because I don't think anyone's really breaking their necks to help black people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry for your second question. When you look at the railroad system, right? A lot of people, there's a narrative that the agents create the railroad. The railroads were already there. They were already there. The agents helped, the Asian community helped extend the railroads further west. But slaves established the railroads. Slaves built the railroads, right? You look at Asian stores and predominantly black communities. Black people provide an economic base for the Asian community, so they can send money back and bring their families over, right? For example, you look at even the Dreamer thing. That's based on Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. So it's based on like a lot of like laws you see passing, anti-hate laws and things of that nature. They're all just derived from the civil rights laws that were in the '60s.
And you said that they
You know what I'm saying? You can get.
you said no, because
Sorry, go ahead.
cut off. You have cut off when you were talking about building an economic base.
Oh no, I was saying how you have Asian stores in black communities, and black people provide an economic base. It's a transactional relationship. But if black people were anti-Asian, then these stores couldn't flourish because white people are not coming into black communities to buy anything but drugs. You know what I'm saying? They're not coming into the black community to stop at the corner store. These are black people who are subsidizing these stores and making these stores flourish and these businesses flourish. So these people can send their children to school. You know what I'm saying? So they could bring their families over. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I don't know if you heard the part I said about the Dreamer Act and how that's directly taken from Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. You know what I mean? You went because let's look at the pattern here, man. You went from black power to power to the people to black and brown to people of color, right? The further things get and the more ground black people, make up supposedly, the less black things get. You know what I mean? The further we get, the lighter things get. So again, black people, we have way too many problems of our own, man. Like economic problems, problems in our own communities, miseducation. You got a lot of people with mental health issues. And the first person to die for this country was a black man. The people who built this country were black. It gets to a point where you're like, man, how much more do you want from me? Like, what else can I give you? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And okay, yeah, I feel that. Definitely. I feel that. And because the thing is, it's like when you look like what you said, we provide economic base because they're not going to any white communities and opening up businesses. And we've put a lot of Black Americans, we've put a lot of Asian people's kids through college. You know what I'm saying? And we don't get, and yet we get treated like garbage.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what happened to you so far has been bad, but it's like but speaking from a devil's advocate, there's there are people who would say, well, man, you know what? You've been living in our shoes for 1 year, and now all of a sudden you think you know what it's like to be Black. Now all of a sudden you want us to help you through. And I've heard like some Asian people say that they want Black people to help them through this time of
How?
discrimination. It's like,
Right. How? Like you have more. I mean, we may have the numbers, but you have what matters, and that's you have money. You have an economic base. You can get things done. There's been more executive actions for Asian people this year than there's been for Black people in 401 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I think, but if you look at it, that's just an indictment on people who, like the same people I spoke about before. That's an indictment on them and how they view Black people as the mules, as the labor. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime it's time to get something done, call a Black person, they're gonna do it. But you won't hire us and you won't pay us to do it. You won't subsidize us to do it. You won't help us establish our own economic base. You just want us to keep being a cow that you get the milk from for free. And so, that tends to be what it is. And you have a lot of Black people who have collective low self-esteem, and they're happy to do that because we want people to like us. But no one's ever going to like you. Like it just is what it is. You're too powerful. No one's going to like you. You got too much. It's just, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You got to focus on self-preservation. Yeah. And again, it's sad if these things are happening globally, because I'm not as in tune with it. If these things are really happening globally, that's crazy. That's crazy if it really is happening. And I'm not saying if like it's a myth. I'm just saying if, because I'm not as well versed in it. But yeah, that's crazy if it is happening. Of course, no one's advocating for that. But I think it's selfish and egotistical and racist to expect Black people to unite to fight someone else's fight, because this isn't a human fight. This is an individual fight, right? Because when Black people go through hell, it's our problem. That's on us. We need to get over it. That's what we're told. We need to get over it. We need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. So I really hope that community is granted justice and finds a way to maneuver through it. And Black people, I hope the same thing for us. I think we need to be able to maneuver through these hard times we've been dealing with for centuries and find our justice.
Right, exactly. Because, I was, because like, some people might say, well, no, we all need to fight together because we're all people in the struggle. We're all oppressed. And people understand that's how the Black Panthers fell. Because the Black Panthers was one of the reasons, not just because of infiltration by other Black people, but when you look at Richard Aoki, he was the field commander.
Wasn't he selling them guns, right? He was the guy who was selling the weapons? Yeah,
he provided them their weapons. Yeah. He was the Asian dude in the Black Panthers. Because for those who don't know, the Black Panthers, they did have a lot of Asian people. Right. But they found out he was an informant. Watch a documentary on that, and also
proud of it too.
Yeah, and
proud of it.
And not to mention, because they started because the Panthers were talking about fighting for all oppressed people, they was worrying about everyone else's problems, and part of that is how they fell, right? So, do you know about that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Man,
for us, for those who may not know, because you might be able to explain it a little better than me.
Well, the Panthers during that period in time, anyone who was anti, I guess you would call it, anti-white supremacy in the United States, they were just labeled as like communists, right? Mm-hmm. Even Martin Luther King was labeled as like a communist, and he was like softcore compared to, the Panthers who came up, a little later. But yeah, the Panthers, they had I believe they were called like the Brown Panthers, and the Panthers had several chapters. And during that time, Asian people, Hispanic people, people, just low income people always live in the same communities. And the Panthers originated in San Francisco in the Bay Area, which is heavily populated by the Asian community. So once, you start getting, and all these are poor people. So once they started getting a little money from here, a little money from there, it was easy for people from other communities to buy their way in to the Panthers. That's why they had a lot of Hollywood elite types. So you had this gentleman, you talking about, well, I don't call him a gentleman. You had this rat you talking about, and he sold them weapons. And he was reporting what type of weapons they had. A lot of times the weapons didn't even have firing pins. So if they would have gotten involved in shootouts, they would have died. They would have immediately died, right? You had some Hispanic members. It was just basically the goal was to just shift the focus from black to everybody. It was just, they just continued to pour milk into the coffee, and the movement became less and less strong. And actually, I guess ironically, the most threatening part about the entire Black Panther party, according to J. Edgar Hoover, wasn't the guns, because they control where the guns were coming from. It was the free breakfast program, instilling, black self-sufficiency. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, black self-sufficiency, doing for self, this black self-determination. You know what I'm saying? They're like, they're feeding themselves, they're feeding their children. No, we can't have that. These men are in charge of their community. No, we can't have that. We need to neutralize this. So that's what happened.
Yeah. So and that's why when I look at like in China, when they in Guangzhou, to be particular, when they were kicking out Africans out their home, whether they had paid rent or not, or if they just or like if you or if you even if you stole a bag of chips, you get shot in the back by some Korean store owner, so showing that your life is worth less than a bag of chips or a bottle of chips. When you look at these dudes choking Black women in these Asian nail salons,
right?
And ain't nobody. And I know these individuals. I understand these are individuals, and I'm not saying I hate the Asian community or anything for that, but it's like, how can you advocate? How can you want us to advocate? Speaking from the devil's advocate, how can you want us to advocate for you, and when on the regular you don't do this for us, and you don't even call out the people in your community, like the Hispanic community? They never called out George Zimmerman. They never claimed him and said that they was shocked and appalled at how he killed a young Black boy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, because no one's as eager to impress white people as Black people. You know what I mean? Like, no one's willing to throw themselves under the bus like Black people are. It's just who we are, man.
Hey, Chaz, you still there?
Yeah, but that's just who we are. But crazy, Ebola. That's when they had to cure for Ebola. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You had messed up when you said that's who we are. You had messed up when you said that's who we are.
Oh yeah, but that's sadly that's who we are. But you remember when the Ebola thing was in Dallas, and it was like this big old scare. It was like, oh, Ebola's in the United States now, and they had like they had like the cure for it. I guarantee you, brother, if Ebola would have been with the coronavirus turned into, and every Black person in the country would be in a concentration camp. It would be all out war. It would be all out war. And you wouldn't hear nobody saying, well, we don't even know where it came from. Because over here, we just one big Black person. We just one group over here. Like, one of us did it, we all guilty. That's how it is in the States, right? So if something came from Africa and it was allegedly, and no one really knew where it came from, but that was the narrative that was being put out there, we would all be under siege. Like every black person would be under siege. We're under siege for the coronavirus, and we ain't got nothing to do with this.
You know, that's the thing. In China,
So
it's funny. First, I'm gonna talk about the Ebola. You know, when the Ebola happened, the same way Asian people are getting treated now, Asian people were treating black people like that when Ebola came out. Like in South Korea, they didn't want no black people in the restaurant. They didn't care if you was a black person from Canada,
wow,
America. They was like, look, you black, you probably got corona.
right?
Not corona, Ebola. Get out of here. They was
Ebola, yeah.
I mean, even in China,
Yeah.
right now, my friend from Cameroon, he just told me that, you know, when he was walking the other day, some old Chinese ladies, they saw him and they put their hands over their nose and they turned around because, you know, they think black people.
Wow.
So, so yeah,
that's crazy.
so there's still the way how they are towards black people in Asia. Yeah, they're still pretty heavily racist over here. I mean, now, does that mean I'm saying
Man.
I'm not? Does that mean I'm saying we should show hatred towards them? Hell no. But this is a reason why we probably should think about our so-called alliance with our so-called brothers of color, because even when you look at China, they put the corona on America, then they blamed it on Africa, then they said it was Australia, then they said it was they said it was what is it? Then they said it was from Canada. So they point the blame everywhere else.
You know, like I said before, personally, I don't care where it came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just think, like you say, you shouldn't show hatred to anyone. But when you know people are showing hatred towards you, you need to just love yourself and your community more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just need to learn ourselves more. We need to be like a turtle and go into our shell and just love ourselves more and give ourselves that, you know, that encouragement and that sense of want and that sense of self-preservation, because no one else is going to do it for us. Now, I've said this to a few people before. No one has any vested interest in the well-being of black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, black people, since we've been so disenfranchised, we always want to be a part of something. No, like, it could be anything. It could be, oh man, y'all know they're not making big wheels anymore. And black people are gonna be like, that's a damn shame they're not making big wheels. Like, why do you care about that? That doesn't involve you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it wasn't people losing their lives or coming under attack, because if you feel passionately about it, see something, say something, go ahead. But we just have to stop being so gung-ho to be a part of everything. Just because we've been disenfranchised for so long, we want to be a part of everything. Anything that's going on, we need to be a part of it. Like, that's our mentality. But I guarantee you, the same people who out there stomping for whatever they're stomping for, I couldn't get them to show up to help me clean up a city block in New Orleans. Old lady's house in New Orleans or in Mississippi or Florida, anywhere. I couldn't get them to show up. It wouldn't be all hands on deck if I wanted to uplift my community. It just wouldn't happen. And that's not we should want to be like other communities and to be prosperous and be self-sufficient and practice self-preservation. We should mimic those communities. You know what I mean? But of course, we got a unique history, so we don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And well, look, y'all, we about to wrap it up here. That's all the time we got for the day. But hey, look, Chaz, tell us now, man, where can we find you at?
Oh man, CheddaChaz.com. That's ChedddaChaz.com. Chedda Chaz on Twitter, same handle. Chedda Chaz on Instagram. Chedda Chaz everywhere, same handle.
Okay.
Same handle, man.
And that's where we can find your music too, right?
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music. It's Chedda Chaz everywhere. Everywhere items are sold.
All right,
It's
y'all.
Chedda Chaz.
All right, that's good. Well, hey, look, man, thanks for having you on, Chaz. We're gonna have to have you on again. It's been fun, man.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You had a good time?
Oh, I had a great time, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm real proud of you, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm digging your show, brother.
All right, thanks, man. All right, y'all, that's all the time we have today. Look, like, share, and subscribe, okay? Make sure you put your comment down below. It's been your boy, Ras Tien, signing out. Love, peace, and coconut grease. I'll holla.